Do you think you already know all the tips and tricks in Rust? Well, it's time to blow your mind. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to build a floating base, how to change the textures of other players, how to see in tunnels in total darkness like daytime, how to completely remove grass for a few seconds, and how to get inside the textures on a military base. And that's only a small part of today's video. I guarantee you won't know all of this, so let's make a deal. Right now, hit that like button below, and if I can't blow your mind at least 5 times, then you can take a like back. With that said, let's start with the tip number 1. You can build a fully floating base somewhere on the edge of the map, so nobody will be able to raid you, and it's actually very easy to do. All you need for this is to place a foundation and build wall frames. The more, the better, because the higher your base will be, the harder it will be to spot. Next, attach a net to the highest wall frame, another shelf to it on each side as I show. Break the foundation from below, and that's it. Now you can place anything you want on this shelf. And if you build 4 foundations with wall frames on each side, you will have a fully equipped air base, complete with boxes, sleeping bags, workbenches, lockers and everything else you need. Also, be sure to build a TC from below, so that nobody can climb up to your base. This trick will definitely blow your mind, because it allows you to change the textures of other players, make your game much brighter, and allow you to see in tunnels in total darkness like daytime. To do this, open NVIDIA control panel, go to Change Resolution tab and click the Customize button under all these resolutions. Make sure you have this checkbox enabled, so you can create a custom resolution, and click on this button below. Here you need to create a new resolution, 1777 horizontal pixels and 1777 vertical pixels, and 60 Hz. Unfortunately, this resolution doesn't work at more than 60 Hz, but maybe it's just me having this problem. Next, click on Test and see if everything works. Your image should stretch into 4:3 resolution. Open the game and select your new custom resolution in NVIDIA control panel. Once you do this, all players will turn white and glow in Rust, and the whole environment will be much brighter, which will give you a huge advantage. In addition to that, you will be able to go down tunnels or underground without a flashlight or any lightning, because you won't need it anymore. Thanks to this new custom resolution, you'll be able to see in the dark as if it were daytime. It seems to me that this isn't just a trick, it's actually an exploit, because it gives you an even greater advantage over other players. But what do you think about it? Write your thoughts in the comments below, I'm really interested in your opinion. You can completely remove the grass for a few seconds using a simple keybind. This trick is so genius that it feels illegal. By the way, I'll leave this keybind in the description below, so you can just copy it. But in exchange, I'll ask you to hit that like button below and share this video with your friend to surprise him, because I'm 100% sure that no one knows about this keybind. Just take a look at how much easier it is to search for items on the ground now. And in general, this keybind makes playing the game much more convenient. You can get an Unbreakable Stash for 25 scrap if you take the treasure mission in the Rancho. Let me show you what I mean. Once you pay 25 scrap, you will see a hidden treasure not far away from you on the map. Inside this crate, you will find components, scrap and other loot. However, if you replace this loot with items from your inventory, you can hide them here. But most importantly, only you can open this box. Other players don't have access to it, and it's impossible to break it. So it's the perfect place to hide your most valuable loot. By the way, if you are completing a mission and you see that you are running out of time, you can easily update the timer. To do this, just type kill into the console and respawn on the beach. As you can see, the timer has updated and you have enough time again. And this works with absolutely all missions in the game. You can make an airlock on a tugboat, so no one can get into the cabin. To do this, jump on the railing next to the door. Grab a bamboo shelf in your hands and attach it to the door as I show. Now, if you try to go inside, you won't succeed, because the shelf is blocking the entrance. But if you close the door, you can push your way in. And to get outside, repeat the same thing on the other side. A very simple method to increase the protection of your tugboat. But that's not all, because you can add a few small boxes on top of the shelves. Yes, they can be broken from the outside, but you have to agree that this looks very unusual. Because now you have a cabin with airlocks on both sides, and 2 small boxes where you can drop unnecessary loot. In case you didn't know, there are no 10 textures for the horse, so you can safely walk through the walls on a military base in Rust. However, this only works in places where there are no other textures such as tables, chairs or other objects. And by using this trick, you can get into the perfect red spot next to the barrel in the middle. Once you're inside, you can jump off the horse. The main advantage of this place is that you won't take any damage from the outside, but you will be able to shoot at your enemies and deal damage to them through the gaps in the tent. If you build a square foundation, add a wall frame on top, place a net inside this frame and attach a neon sign to it. Once you paint the neon sign any color you want and connect it to electricity, you will have a one-way wall. While you're outside, you cannot see what's behind the sign. However, if you're inside, you can perfectly see everything that's going on outside. So you could say it's a legal wall hack that gives you a huge advantage over other players. If you don't want to deal with the heavy scientists on the oil rig, you can sacrifice your minicopter to shoot down their helicopter. First, open the main room using the blue card. Next, use the red card to get to the crate and activate it. Run to the landing pad and get on your minicopter or attack helicopter. Wait for their helicopter to land and crush it at full speed. If you do everything right, both of your helicopters will explode, but you won't get hurt. However, it's better to do it with a teammate because it's dangerous and you can get crushed by a helicopter. In any case, this is an excellent way to quickly get rid of these bots. If you find the camper model at the beginning of a wipe, don't run past it. Be sure to sit inside it if it hasn't been picked up already and make a bed here. Unlike a default sleeping bag, this bed doesn't have a timer, so you can use it right away. The timer won't appear until you use this bed for the second time, so it's a perfect bonus at the beginning. If you build two foundations and a wall between them, attach a bamboo shelf to the wall as close to the corner as possible as I show, then build the roof on the other side. You will be able to place a small box on the shelf and transfer loot through the wall. You can use this method to make a hidden loot room or completely cover the TC room in HQM to get maximum protection. Of course, you can use a drop box instead. However, a small box is much more convenient to use for loot transfer. Now, take a look at this base. There is nothing on the floor. However, as soon as you run up to the TC, the door will close behind you and you will be trapped inside. But how does this work? Well, it's all thanks to the shelf and the laser that works through the ceiling. So, let me show you how to build it. First, build two ceilings over the half wall in the middle and attach the shelf as high as possible under the ceiling. Next, place the laser on the shelf in the very corner so that it faces upwards. You can build whatever you want on top, it doesn't matter. Attach a door controller to the door and connect the laser to electricity. From the laser output connector, run a wire to the door controller, and that's how you can make this trap. If you build a foundation as close to someone else's shelter as possible, place a fire turret on it and throw 25 fuel inside. You can raid this shelter in 1 minute just by hitting this turret with a rock. In my opinion, this is the easiest and cheapest way to raid shelters near your base if you don't have a lot of time. If you climb this pipe near the main building at the train yard, you will see this texture at the bottom. You need to open the settings and change the object quality to 0. As you can see, this texture has disappeared. If you jump on it as I show, you will be able to shoot through this gap and deal damage to players inside the building. A very easy way to catch your enemies off guard. What was the craziest and most genius tip in this video? Write about it in the comments below. I'm really interested in your opinion. And if you want to learn more about Rust, then in this video I'll show you guys for all the puzzle and keycard locations in Rust from Tier 1 to Tier 3, as well as everything you need to know about keycards, including their features, some general information, the best ways to find them, and how to make scrap from these keycards.